YouTube, and welcome to episode 3 of the fake Merc Character Study. So last time something interesting happened. The video was up and within 2 hours it was rated again, and it was rated by none other than our boy Hemingway, who used his sock account to dislike the video and left 20-ish comments, right? Trying to discourage me, trying to threaten me into deleting my videos because he wants me to stop, right? Funny part is, by doing this, he's actually helping the video get promoted. See, what you don't get, Jason, is that when you leave dislikes, they get removed by the YouTube bots because they realize that it comes from one IP address, but they don't remove the comments. So the boost that you actually provide me with those comments stays, but the malice that you try to apply to the video doesn't. Try to use the 2 P's that you have in your brain to intellectualize that. Because I know it's not going to happen, I know you're still going to raid those videos because you're not super smart, but it's counterproductive. And I also want to point out the fact that for someone who cries and whines about people using dislike bots on your videos, you seem to be pretty comfortable doing the same thing to other people. And you're not using bots because you're not actually intelligent enough to program that type of artificial intelligence, even though it's something that anyone with a tiny bit of skill would be able to do, right? But coming from someone who can't even figure out how YouTube works after having been on the platform for a good 10 years, I'm not really expecting much from you. So I'm going to explain it. Basically, for someone who would want to be efficient and optimized, they would code a bot. They would code a program that would apply likes, that would publish comments that would be pre-written. But that's not what he does. What he does, you see, is he has a bank of sock accounts, fake accounts that he made himself. He logs on them one by one and he leaves a comment. And it's so evident that it's one person doing that because all of the comments happen one after the other. When I look at the time, it's one comment, then I can see the amount of time it takes you to log on to another account, which is like 3 minutes. What are you doing? 3 minutes to log into a different account? Try to work on your sausage fingers a little bit more, Jason. You could be faster than that. Try to optimize the volume and intensity of your keyboard tapping a little bit. So he logs onto a different one, he leaves another one, etc. And it's so obvious that it's one person too because it's the same syntax, it's the same attacks, and the funniest part about it is that you can also see that the more he writes, the more upset he gets. Most likely he's crying in front of his laptop doing that because he starts trying to sound intelligent and reasonable, which he fails at, of course, because he has the IQ of a dead golfer, but he really tries hard. And I truly think that as he does that, he listens to the video because the more he posts, the more unhinged he gets. And at some point, at the end, he was just leaving comments saying, "You smell." So we know that we're dealing with someone who's not super crafty when it comes to trolling. But I just really want to highlight the hypocrisy of it because on the flip side, the people who leave dislikes on his videos are organic. It's not a dislike bot. I explained it. Dislike bots cannot exist on YouTube. YouTube has filters. They have bots of their own. If likes or dislike bots were a thing, everyone would run it because it would boost the algorithm. It would boost the frequency of people clicking on videos. And YouTube cannot allow that because if they did, they would sell 40 and most of the time misguided shares to holders. The data that they would show to investors wouldn't actually match the truth, and any big company would fight hard against that. So those types of bots don't exist. It gets automatically removed by YouTube. So that's proof that the dislikes he gets are from individuals. Each and every single one he gets is one person that doesn't like him, disagrees with him, and leaves a dislike. Only difference is those people, as I've covered, cannot leave a comment. Why? Because they're banned. And I think I've said it before, but I want you to picture this. It's the same on our planet Earth. There are more people who died on this planet than people who are alive today. It's the same for him. there are more people that he banned from commenting than people that are actually commenting. And if you know anything about YouTube, you know that comments are supremely important because they show high engagement. So if he was smart, if he was the master troll that he describes himself as, he would live that. He would let it be. He wouldn't read the comments. He would just let people do their thing. And if you look back at his page in 2016 and 17, there was a brief period of time where he did that. He just let people do their thing in the comments, like Rich Piana used to do, which is why he was so popular, by the way. And that really helped. He had more views, more visibility, more subscribers than ever. But his fragile little ego couldn't take it because he just cannot deal with the fact that people might not agree with him, might make fun of him. And so what does he do? He censors, and this is why now he gets maybe 20 comments when he used to get 500, 600. He doesn't have the ability to have a successful YouTube page because of that. And it's always going to remain the same because he always censors people. And I want his fanboys who might be looking and watching this video to do one simple experiment. If you don't believe me, if you think he's so great and he's nice, go on his video or whatever and just leave a comment disagreeing with him. I'm not telling you to troll him. I'm not telling you to insult him. Just disagree and ask him, hey, could you explain this to me? There's going to be two results. Either he's going to be immediately condescending or he's going to ignore you. If he's condescending, push him. Ask for an answer. Don't insult him. Just push for an answer. He's going to ban you. That's the next step. Do you really want to support and encourage the content creation of someone who behaves like this? The way he treats his community, the people who follow him must be either masochistic or not understand that he's actually being purely shitty to them because they keep watching. Just let his channel die. Stop engaging with the guy. He's not producing anything of value. Just let him be. And that's sort of the introduction for this day and this character study for the fake Merc because we're just getting started. I'm just starting to release the ments. This is nothing. This is nothing. We're going to really get into that. We're going to get into the funny stuff. And last time I spoke about his lactose intolerance that somehow disappeared when he moved back to the US. But I really want to dig deeper into the insane stupidity of that man and the garbage advice he gives, especially considering that he sometimes gives dietary advices. There was a brief period of time where he refused to do so for legal reasons, which was of course BS. The reality was because he knew nothing and that he would get exposed. And also, I think deep down, he's super scared of giving nutrition advice because the last time he tried to delve into that aspect of fitness, he got completely destroyed by Lane Norton, who tried to challenge him to a debate that Bloho just dodged because he knew he would lose. And that's why he usually doesn't do that. But because he cannot help himself, he has to know everything. He often says certain things. For example, he claimed to be on keto for a while, and he claimed to also do GOMAD as he was doing keto. That shouldn't take you too long to figure out. There are carbs in milk. Consuming carbs is going to put you out of ketosis. You cannot do keto and be on GOMAD. It's impossible. And yet, when people pointed that out to him, what did he do? Oh, just a little carbs is not going to kill. If you do GOMAD, it will. That's not keto. That's just doing whatever, but it's not keto. It's the equivalent of someone saying they're vegan and eating a steak. And you would say, well, that's not vegan. And they'll say, well, it's just a little steak, still vegan. No, that's not how diet works. Issue is, imagine the people who follow him who might know nothing about diet and who think that they're going to be able to lose weight on keto doing GOMAD. It's going to be dangerous for the health of their heart. They're going to accumulate fat. All of that because they followed the word of someone who clearly doesn't look like he knows how to diet. But it's important that people like me call it out because clearly a lot of his fanboys are not able to see through that. He also claims, and he claimed and he still claims, that he needs 5,000 calories to maintain. At 5'7", 225 pounds, 25% body fat, 5,000 calories. See, this is what's wrong with that guy. He doesn't get that he's fat. He knows it deep down because, as I explained, he's what I call and what is called in the profession as a vulnerable narcissist, meaning that he's intimately aware of his flaws, but he just cannot admit them to the public because it would just shatter the perception of himself he's trying to project onto others. And the thing is, someone like him would do well cutting his calories because the only thing he's maintaining by consuming 5,000 calories a day is fat. That's the only thing he's doing. And for someone who's 5'7", being 220 is not okay. Not at that body fat, it's not healthy, it's not a good look, it doesn't look good on him or anyone. And that's promoted by his terrible diet. But see, he does that for two reasons. One, because he just cannot control himself, and when he's hungry, he eats. A lot of fat people are like this. It's not really that the diet doesn't work, it's just that they won't make the diet work because when they're hungry, they will eat. No matter what happens, it's an impulse, they will just obey to it. And secondly, he thinks it makes him look cool because I think he's seen all of the insane diets of strongmen and, pro athletes, and he believes in his head, oh, if I claim that I need a lot of calories, it's going to make it look like I'm super anabolic, like I expend a lot of calories in a day, and it's going to make me look like an athlete. There was a period of time where he was LARPing, saying that since Michael Phelps consumed thousands of calories of carbs every day, and Michael Phelps, by the way, for people who don't know, was a gold medalist in swimming. Swimming consumes thousands of calories, especially when you swim 5 hours a day, which doesn't equate to doing squats. By the way, it's not the same thing. So Blahino was actually trying to explain why he would stuff his face like a pig by saying that he was doing like Michael Phelps. So if an athlete does it, I should do it too because it's the best way to be big and strong. Well, of course, that's not how it works. And the issue is that he's still doing that to this day because he's still overweight. Going down the list, we also see that as far as the cycles and as far as the fake natty stuff, you need to understand one thing with that guy. The reason why he got a following in the first place was because he was one of the first few people on YouTube Fitness. And not only that, because that's already big, right? YouTube, most of the people who managed to make it big were people who are there at the start, and so they basically had no competition. So they got a big audience fast. It was much easier to accumulate an audience back in the days than it is now. But there's a flip side to that, you see, because Bloho couldn't even do that just by using this one advantage. He also had to do name drops because he's the pioneer of the natty or not videos, where he just would name drop someone more successful, better looking, stronger, bigger, more muscular than him, and he would just basically make a video with no proofs saying that they're not natty. Right? I'm not defending fake natties, they are the worst of the worst. That being said, the practice that Blahino put into place to build his channel was exactly that. And you would think that someone who basically abused every single fail and hole in the system to have a following would be able to accumulate a lot and lot of subscribers. He's at 100K. 100K subs after what? 6-7 years on YouTube? How is that even possible? Well, I'm going to tell you how it's possible. He's unlikable, he doesn't know what he's talking about, people can tell that he has mental issues just by looking at him, and he's just mean to people who follow him. People have the decency to look at you speak, they manage to see beyond the bald head, the destroyed tooth, the disgusting face, the attitude, the lack of knowledge, and you still manage to be disrespectful towards them. That, of course, comes from the vulnerable narcissism, but that explains why he's never been able to maintain an audience, retain an audience, and more importantly, why the only audience he retains are people who are hate watching. As I explained in part 2, he's a lol cow, they're watching for the memes, and that also should tell you why his numbers look so strange. You see, when a channel has 100K subs, there are simple calculus to put in place to calculate what the viewer retentionship should be and what the engagement should be like. And for the most part, it's going to resemble, depending on the area of YouTube, it should resemble something that is going to match 60 to 70% at some point. So someone who has 100,000 subs should be able within 2 weeks to get at least 50, 60K views. On YouTube Fitness though, it doesn't work like that because YouTube Fitness is dying and because there's a ton of old channels who accumulated a ton of subs, but those people eventually left, they deleted the account, they just stopped doing training or anything, but the number hasn't been deleted because the Google account is still up and running. So I'm not going to cite names because the people who are involved in that I usually like, but you have guys on YouTube Fitness who have 2 million subs and they barely get 10K views. That's not normal. That's a sign that there's an issue with the count of subscribers. And it's the same for Blahino. You see with Bloho, he has 100K, 110K, but in reality, the amount of subs that he has that are active is around 20K. Around 20K. So if all of the dead accounts would be removed, he would be around 20K subs after 7 years on YouTube. Even though he used the fake natty to boost his performance on YouTube, and even though he started at the very beginning. Every single guy that started after him, Omar, Alpha Destiny, the Golden One, they passed him a long time ago. They have more subs, they have much more viewer retention. They all did much better. Why? Because they know more, they look better, and they're actually likable people. And as far as the numbers go, if you want to go even deeper into that, you'll also realize that there's a discrepancy between the videos he's making about any subject where he's just rambling about something he's done 15 videos on, like the front squats, the chin-ups. He pumps out the same videos with the same thumbnails, with the same content, which by the way is not, it's forbidden by YouTube. You're not supposed to recycle content like this, but because YouTube doesn't care about his channel, he gets a pass. So, as far as that goes, you'll see that his drama videos where he name drops get a lot more views. And you would think, well, it's because the algorithm is promoting the video because another name is in it. So people type the name and they find the video. His videos do not get recommended by YouTube. He has a catalog of 6,000 videos. They barely get recommended to people who are not subscribed or people who don't click on his channel. And even then, you barely get any recommendation from him, which is not normal. Because usually when you have 100K subs, YouTube is spamming your videos to people. When you click on one vid of someone with 100K, the sidebar should be full of their videos. It's not the case for him. Why? His channel is dying and YouTube is not willing to invest any time and energy in it because they see the real numbers. And so you see that when he name drops, he gets 20K views. And that's why I said that he has 20K subscribers, because you quickly realize that a lot of his subs, the majority of them actually, are hate watching. And what they want to watch is, they want to watch him make a fool of himself, attack other people because he's funny when he does that, because he's delusional. And they only watch that. That's also the type of people that will leave a comment telling him to bring back the hat of +5 weaponsmithing. Those are the people who are just interested in the mints. These make up the bulk of his audience, and that's why he tends to try and drop that type of drama video once in a while to get some views. The reason why he stopped doing that so often is one, because drama doesn't pay as much on YouTube anymore, and two, because he's afraid of losing his channel, most likely because YouTube told him to calm down because he was attacking people left and right. But if you want to see the amount of subs he really has, you need to look at his viewer retention on informative videos, which is usually 3,000 views. So that's a guy who started first, name dropped from the very start, abused one of the most clickbaity titles on YouTube Fitness, which is the Natty or Not, and who managed, after 6-7 years of intense YouTube activity with 2 or 3 uploads a day, to accumulate a grand total of 3,000 subs. Impressive. Moving on, I spoke about the PED thing and the fake natty thing. What's interesting with that too is, to be able to make those fake natty videos, he had to claim to be an expert, right? But how do you claim to be an expert? Well, you have to claim to have experience with PEDs. And that's what he does. He claimed to manufacture PEDs, which is illegal, by the way. Why would you claim that? He claimed that he sold some of it to college athletes, which is also illegal. And if they're minors, it's double illegal. All of that to give himself an aura of authority so that people would believe him when he said that someone wasn't natural. But there's a catch-22 here. If someone tells you that they're an expert concerning PEDs and that they ran heavy cycles themselves, what do you expect that person to look like? They have to look like a monster, right? If not, why are you even taking those drugs? Because you look like you don't lift. That's the catch-22 he's put himself into. Again, it shows that he doesn't have the ability to project himself, which is why him lying is annoying, but at the end of the day, it's like a toddler lying. They lie because it's easy right now to get themselves out of the situation. They don't have the brain capacity to realize that their lies are going to contradict something else that's going to happen in the future that's going to get them caught. So for him, he was stuck in that situation. He still is stuck in that situation because he sometimes claims TRT, then he says he's natty. There's no way to know. I personally think that he destroyed his body when he was bodybuilding, injecting PEDs, injecting synthol. He just burned his hormonal profile to the ground. Now his body doesn't produce anything anymore, which is also why he's sterile, and he's forced on TRT. I don't know how much he's taken. For someone who's been training 20 years on TRT, he looks like a sack of potatoes. And that's pretty much that. The entire PED expert thing, it's been done on YouTube. When it's done in a genuine way, like Rich Piana used to do, it works. It also worked because Rich was legitimately a monster of a man. If he was skinny, no one would have liked him anyways. So it's sort of the issue with Blahino where you're taking natty or not informations from a guy who tells you that he knows because he's been doing insane cycles, but he doesn't look like he's ever lifted a weight in his life. And also, that entire LARP about being a PED expert, he tried that on forums way back in the day, and you can still find the posts, and people in the forums who actually knew what they were talking about laughed at him and basically made him leave the forum. The difference is that on the forums, he couldn't control the comment section, which he did on his channel, which is why he would silence dissenting voices, which is censorship coming from someone who apparently is a conservative. That's quite funny, because if there's anything that is conservative in value, it's the freedom of speech, and I think it's the First Amendment, which is the most important of them all. Again, he's a complete hypocrite. As far as training goes, people ask me all the time, why do you say he doesn't know what he's talking about? The flip-flopping. And people say, oh, it's because he changes his mind. That's not changing your mind. If he changed his mind, he would delete the videos he made about the false information. He's not changing his mind. He's doing what we call in my language, retourner sa veste. He's basically going where the wind pushes him, whatever is the path of least resistance, whatever looks good right now, he's doing. So throughout the years, he's done Bulgarian training, which was Bulgarian light. He did conjugate, he did minimalist training, he did linear progression, he did sumo, he did conventional. At some point, he was doing front squat, he was doing Olympic weightlifting. The point that all of these things have in common is that he was never able to explain in programming terms why these things were good. He would get defensive about it because he didn't have the intelligence to talk about those subjects when it comes to volume, intensity, and frequency, and he would give them up because he expected a magic fix and it never worked. And that guy also has a tendency to gravitate towards things that are easy, and that's why he avoids doing lots of reps on squats and deadlifts, by the way, because it's hard on the cardiovascular system, and he's lazy. But those are also the way to accumulate tonnage and get bigger as a natural, which he is not, which is doubly insulting because he's small. And the thing that bothers me the most about that is not just the fact that he refuses to discuss his practices, it's mostly the fact that whenever he does something, it somehow is the best thing ever. And then when he stops doing it, the thing is terrible and bad, and if you do it, you're an idiot. He was always dogging on Alpha Destiny for using chains on the bench, saying that it was to fake his strength, blah, 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 that it didn't work for raw lifters. And then the second he realized that he might want to use them on the bench, now it's the greatest thing ever. So if you watch a video of him now, he'll tell you that chains are great on the bench. You go back 2 years, he would tell you that, oh, they're the worst, and if you use them, you're an idiot. That's not changing your mind, because in a month or 2 months, he'll have changed his mind again. So why would you take advice from someone like this? Might as well just, take a dice or take a coin, flip the coin, and let the coin decide your training. Think for yourself and don't follow idiots like this. We're going to now get to the claim that got me banned from his channel, because as I explained before, I used to watch him, then I realized that he was a piece of human garbage, and at some point, I don't know why, maybe I'm too nice, I gave him a chance again, and I watched him again. Seriously, I didn't want to troll him, and at some point I was asking questions, because that's what you do. You create a community, you talk about things, you evolve. I asked him why he would say that using straps on a deadlift would negate the deadlift, because I didn't get it, and it didn't make sense in my head. And he wouldn't answer. He would dodge my question, and at some point he just banned me. And it's not like I spammed him, it's just that when I watched a video of him and I heard him saying straps are bad for deadlifts, don't use straps, I would just ask the question, because he would never explain why. The reason why, and I made a video about it, because he has the same mentality as the natty or not guy, the reason why is because it's for raw powerlifting. If you don't lift it raw, it doesn't count. This is, of course, intensely stupid. It hurts my brain, but some people still buy it, they'll listen to him. And if I was stupid enough to listen to him at 23 years of age, younger people will follow him, and I want to prevent that. And I know people on this channel are still on the verge about him. This is why I make those videos. I want to show you that you shouldn't be listening to him. As far as the censorship, I said it before, he bans people who disagree, which I don't get. I'm personally quite intense when it comes to the First Amendment and freedom of speech. To me, it's absolute, and I've said it before, I will never ban anyone from commenting on this channel, ever. You can take that to the grave. I'm never going to do it. I don't care what you say, unless you dox. It's my one thing, don't dox people, but that's it. He doesn't have that type of qualms. He will ban you for whatever. If he feels like you're being, sarcastic or disrespectful, he will ban you, because he's a baby. He's made of sugar. You would think that someone so fat with so many layers of blubber would have thick skin. Not the case. The guy cannot take even remotely, respectable criticism. He just banned you. And he's proud about it too. It's insane. And again, he's shooting himself in the foot, because if he let people comment on his channel would actually get traction. He doesn't get that because he is just impaired. He also, and that's, it's adding insult to injury, he bans people from commenting on his channel, and then he logs on his own sock accounts and he leaves comments on his own videos. Most of the time to compliment him. People who were there last video for part 2 and saw the raid saw that he likes to comment using women's accounts, and he always uses names that are like Scandinavian or Irish. Like, he would never use the name of a southern woman. And he always puts pictures of very gorgeous women. Then he used that afterwards to comment on his channel, calling himself cute. That's schizophrenia. That's a mental illness at this point. I'm really starting to wonder if he has, I think it's called multiple personality disorder. When you have multiple personalities in your head, but for him it's not in your head because there's not enough space. It's the sock accounts. Every sock account is a different personality, which I would pay money to see that, because every sock account is a different ethnicity. So I wonder if he does the accents, like when he logs on the Indian sock account, he's now Indian, or the French one is French. That would be top level mens. If we could get the footage of that, sheesh, would make millions of views. I'm going to also talk about the false copyright claims that he abused back in the days to shut down channels, which was, again, completely illegal. YouTube should have banned his channel. They didn't, because as I said, one, they don't care about him because his channel is dead, and two, I'm pretty sure he managed to convince them that he's mentally impaired and potentially disabled, so they're giving him a pass. Funnily enough, he would never admit that to his audience, because apparently he's supposed to have 147 IQ and be perfectly normal and, social, which of course we buy that from the way you live, Bloho. And the last one, I'm going to leave you with this one. When he's challenged, because he opens his mouth so much that he receives challenges. Of course, the last one was for Vegan Gains. Vegan Gains told him to fight him in a cage. His escape strategy is always the same. He fixes an insane price, a quote, for his presence that no one can potentially match, and then that gives him an excuse to not attend. When he was asked to debate Lane Norton on Skype, mind you, not even presential, on Skype, I think he asked for something like 100K. And Lane was like, I'm not paying you 100K for a debate. You're going to do in your hovel, in your shitty laptop. It doesn't work like that. And it's just a way for him to avoid conflict because he's never confronted anyone in his life. When he went, one time he went to an expo, one time, that was before people realized he was a terrible human being. He is just awkward, just an awkward human being. And you can see that in the public footage of him. He doesn't talk to people, he sort of stands on the side. He's just not good around people, and there's nothing wrong with that, but he's trying to make himself look at that alpha male that if you confront me, I'm going to have to use my 308 on you, and you better not be a pug. Who actually buys into that? The guy has the intimidation factor of, I don't know, a bird, like a pigeon. You see a pigeon, is that intimidating? That's blowhole. That's the fear I feel when I see that guy. The only thing he's managed to scare is the mirror in his bathroom. That's it. And I'm going to leave you with that. But pretty much it wraps it up. We're not done. This is one page. I have 5 of these. So we're going to keep going. Most likely Bloho is going to raid this one again. I'm not stopping. And because you cannot file claims against those videos because I don't use any content and I don't actually use your real name, tough luck. See you soon.